1 John 2:28 and 29. Now, little children, abide, live, remain permanently in Him, so that when He is made visible, we may have and enjoy perfect confidence, boldness, assurance, and not be ashamed and shrink from Him at His coming. Now, the reason why He addresses them as children is John was possibly at this time the last one who walked with Jesus. He's the last of the 12 disciples to be left. The rest of them had been martyred and passed on, and John was left. So everybody else is younger in the faith. He's old at this point. At one part in his letter, he's referred to as the elder. So he's seeing everybody else as children, and but it's also a context of them being children of God. And it's reflecting on a relationship a father would have with their children. So he's telling them that as you would act to your parents, this is the way you should act to God, but even more reverence. You should be there. You should live and have a good relationship with Him. And they should be, our speaking to God is through prayer, and His speaking to us oftentimes through us opening up Scripture. And both of these should be done to have this life in Him, this confidence and boldness, which will come from the Spirit dwelling in us, but through these things, serving allows us to happen, Scripture study and prayer and fellowship with others. There's many parts to this that causes this relationship to go, and many different aspects of living out Christ, but He's telling them this is what you need to do. You need to live for Christ. You need to live in Him. And through this you'll gain a confidence. Not of ourselves, but a confidence in the gospel, a confidence of what we're doing. The boldness should never be of something of ourselves, what we did, and boasting in ourselves, but always in Him and bring Him praise. And that's what He's telling them there. Because at this time, the persecution in the church was probably the heaviest it was. So there was a fear that they were going to lose their lives for it, so some of them were kind of closet Christians. And He's telling them, don't worry about that. He's saying, live for Christ. Don't be ashamed. Don't worry about what they can do to you. Jesus said at one point in the Gospels, don't worry about those that can kill the body. Worry about, and I'm paraphrasing, worry about God who has control over both the body and soul. Verse 29, if you know, perceive, and are sure that He, Christ, is absolutely righteous, conforming to the Father's will in purpose, thought, and action, you may also know, be sure that everyone who does righteously and is before in like manner conformed to the divine will is born and begotten of Him. So He's telling, the reason we live this way is so people know we're of Christ. We're to know others that they're of Christ by the way they live. And today we live in a world where very few people will deny being Christian. But most people don't have the lives to prove it. And the world, though, will see these people that don't claim to be Christian and don't live like it, Christ, and it's one deterrence for them coming to faith. And this is even more reason for us to live like Christ. It is being a witness Jesus refers to it as a light, shining His light. So we're to be a vessel to shine God, which is done by us living as He would. And while there may be people that claim but don't have a change in life, the fact that our life is different should still speak to the world, even though these people's testimony may hurt it. They see us being loving and merciful, and they know that the Lord is there. It makes them think. It's through our actions. Love in Scripture is never described as a feeling. It's always something put to action. That's why when it talks about love, it tells them this is, if you love your brother, you don't let them go without their needs being met. You try to meet them because it's an action. To say you love someone and not to do anything when they're in need, when you can, isn't to truly love. And this is how we're to live as Christians. Because the world, you look at religions of the world, it's never love-based. It's what they have to do, what they have to do. And this is the distinction between us and Christ because it's a relationship. So oftentimes the things that's going to stand out to the world and they're going to catch attention to is the love we show. So John's telling them, show this love. Be bold about the gospel. And that's how people are going to change, through the love of Christ.